disappointed that it wasn't I don't know if I want to use a better effort, but just to get blitzed as early as you did in that ball game on Saturday?
Yeah, it was, because I thought we really had a great week of practice. I thought our kids were really locked in and focused, and I was hoping they'd show up, at the very beginning of the game and give a great effort. But Emporia came early, and they set the tone with the very first kickoff, and then they set the tone on the very first play, from scrimmage with us on offense and hitting our running back, and we just couldn't get out of it. And then field position played a big part of it as well, and giving up some big plays and not getting first downs. And hurt us. I'm not happy with the performance at all. I thought we came out really sluggish and slow, and not prepared, not ready to play. And I got to find a way to get these guys ready again this week. For a tough game, a good opponent, and I just got to make sure I find ways to get these kids to practice harder and get more locked in on game day.
Something that they'll profit from going forward.
I think so. Being their second start, a lot of these young men, they always learn something once they get in the game. It doesn't matter if you're a senior, you still learn something from those games. But I think their D-line was a little bit more physical than Central Missouri's. They sent some different blitzes that we showed them in practice, but when it's actual true time, with instead of scouts running it, it looks a lot different and a lot faster, and guys are a lot stronger. So yeah, I thought they learned a lot, in this game, and then just, maybe communication a little bit better, across the board. And, I think those are the things that'll help them, going into this week, that, hey, we have to do things a little bit better than what we did the week before. And, but I think it's just the speed and the overall physicality was a shocker to them. And I think that's something that they'll be more prepared at, as the years go on.
You're obviously, some because of injury, but a decision to play younger players who I'm sure you feel are the future of the program. I mean, have you noticed, are you happy with their approach to their preparation and how they're performing, and maybe learning from game to game in the short time they've had here?
Yeah, I'm very pleased with their, how they've kind of progressed, these last couple of weeks. Their first start was against Central Missouri, and, they did some very good things. That there were a few mistakes, but they learned from those mistakes. There were some mistakes in this game as well, and I just think the physicality of this game was something that they really weren't quite prepared for. But they still did some decent things and did some good things. And, there were still some good plays that we made in that game. And, you look across the board right now on that O-line, there's 4 of them are freshmen. A couple of them are red shirts, and, a couple of them are true freshmen. And then you look at our tight ends as well. Bucky played for a little bit and got re-injured, but so now we're still playing with 2 redshirt freshman tight ends. And, it's just kind of across, and a quarterback. That's, this is his first year as being the starter, and he's kind of a freshman himself when it comes to playing games. So across the board, we're young. It's just getting those guys some experience and getting them learning and getting them comfortable, with playing in this conference. And hopefully this woke them up to see that, we need to be better in the weight room. We need to be better at practice. We need to probably study a little bit better, watch film a little bit better, and do everything better than what we're doing it right now. But they're young. We just got to keep them keep being positive with them, helping them grow and helping them mature, and letting them know that we're going to have some growing pains here. But everything that we're doing right now is only going to make you better as a football player and as a person, as long as you keep taking the right steps to get better and improve yourself each day.
Is there an update on Bucky?
A little bit. I don't know if it's good news yet or bad news. There's still a few more tests they want to do with him just to make sure everything is okay. So we're hoping for the best. Great young man. He's been here a long time. He's done things the right way. He's worked really, really hard. And I think I probably appreciate about him the most is like if he was coming back for his last year of it, because he already graduated, and he really took his time to think about it. This is something that he was going to do, and he did it the right way. He came in this summer, was here every single day. He worked his tail off, did the 7-on-7s, and had all the excuses in the world not to do those things just because he's been here and he's done it, and he's a senior, and sometimes those seniors feel like they don't have to do those things, but he did it right, and that's what probably hurts the most. He's a great young man that works his tail off and is very smart, and just having him on the field with us right now, helping us coach those young men is cool as well. Even though he's not in there, he's fully engaged with them, teaching them some tricks, that maybe I'm not teaching him, because he's pretty smart and he's played a lot of football and understands things pretty well, whether it's leverage or maybe hand placement or maybe route running. But he's fully engaged, with those young men. But I hope we do get him back. I don't know if that's going to happen, but he is going to be one kid I truly miss.
What about Chance? Any update on him? We noticed the game, he had the breakdown.
He's walking better and getting around a little bit better. It's still going to be, today's the day we find more out about it from the doctor, and if they fully clear him or if they don't clear him. So, we'll kind of know more after today's appointment. That's sometime this afternoon here. So hopefully, it's good news. But you never know with things like that, and surgeries and the healing process, and then where everything's at. If the doc doesn't feel like he's ready yet, then he's not ready. And if he does say he's ready, if we don't feel like he's ready, I'm not going to throw the young man out there and hurt him any worse. So his safety always comes first. But I'm hoping we get another shot with him because he is a great quarterback, and he just he's got a little something to him that makes our team click.
Bucky's injury is a reoccurrence of the same injury?
Yeah, it's the same injury that we had before. Just running that little quarterback counter with Forrester, and as he came around the corner, stepped on Bucky's ankle, and it just kind of re-injured again. So we can't catch a break. It seems like we could get one back, and the next thing we know, we're losing one or two more. So hopefully this sometime ends soon, because I'm tired of seeing the injury report. I just want to get some of these kids back and get them healthy.
On Chance, explain if this is even a possibility. He's played in 2 games. How does the medical redshirt thing work? Would that be something he'd be eligible for, or want to do, or is that totally out of the possibility?
I think it's something that he'd be eligible for, but he's already going to have his master's here this December, and he's had a lot of injuries since he's been here. And at some point, you want a kid to be, have a decent life. With he's had 2 shoulders now, a knee issue, and another knee issue, and multiple things. And I want him to be able to have a life with his kids and be able to move around and play. And at some point, you got to give it up at some point. And having your master's already and completed, what else? What other schooling are you going to go into? I don't think Chance is a doctor by any means, but maybe he could be. But great kid. But at some point, it's just kind of time to pack it in and move away because the injuries just keep adding up.
Northeastern State, obviously a team that has struggled, but put together a heck of a battle in Washburn on Saturday. I guess as you look at this game, challenges that Northeastern State presents.
Just, they've gotten better each and every year, since Coach Eckert's been there. He's done a good job of getting those kids ready. He's gotten some, good recruits as well. He's got some upperclassmen that have been with him for a few years now. And, when you watch them on film now, they're solid. They know what they're doing on defense. They'll give you a 4-man front, give you a 3-man front. They'll bring different pressures. Sometimes you'll have a 5-man front, and you don't know what they're going to do out of it. And sometimes they'll bring a lot of pressure out of it, and sometimes they won't. Multiple coverages as well, but those kids are playing hard, they're playing physical, and they're trying to win ball games, and you can see them compete every single time. Then offensively, they got a couple of good running backs that are one's really big and powerful and strong, and their O-line does a good job of reestablishing the line of scrimmage. Got some really good receivers that run good routes, and they play 2 quarterbacks, so we'll just have to see which one they play this week. I know last week they played they just traded off quarters, and they're both very similar, and they're both very talented. So they're just a good football team right now, and they're doing things the right way. And the kids are playing hard, and you can tell they're really trying to change that program around. It's kind of like when I first got here. There's that time, and when kids just finally start to figure out what you want done, they start doing it, and great things happen. So they are, maybe they're not getting the wins, but you can still see there's a lot of successful things going on with their program. So I know it's going to be a tough battle when they come in here. They're going to try to get that win, and we're going to do everything we possibly can to keep it from them.
Is that something you guys ever considered with the 2 quarterbacks in the situation with Chance being out, is giving them each a quarter, or the way you're doing it is kind of how you always envision?
I think just the way we're doing it is how we envision. Ethan kind of has his package, and Dawson has his package as well, and just trying to figure out certain situations in the game when to use those packages, and then whichever one's really kind of click is probably what you're going to go with. But last week neither one really worked, so. We're just going to go with what we keep doing. If, Ethan's better this week in practice, then it'll be Ethan. And if we feel like that package is better, and it might be a game time decision, or, Jack will still start the game. But if we feel like we can do more with Ethan, we'll put Ethan in there and run with him too. So it's just kind of the feel of the game is kind of more of how we kind of base that off of.
Saturday, senior day, last home game for those guys. Perhaps reflect on those guys, what they've meant to the program, and how some of them stuck it out through the COVID years where they actually added on to their career, and now it's culminating on on Saturday for their home portion of the schedule.
Yeah, it's unfortunate how the season kind of went, for them as well. We was hoping, when you look back at the start of the season that, we had the guys in place to have a really good season, and all of a sudden we had tons of injuries, and then, tons of guys not show up. But, a lot of those guys have done a lot of good things for this program as well, and, have done things the right way, and then, there's others that haven't. So, there's guys that I really am going to miss, and guys that really put the time and the effort in, to help make this program better, and have had some good leadership out of, a few of them, but there's a few others I wish we could have got more leadership out of. But, it's still a good group. It's not that, none of these kids are malicious. They're great kids. They all going to have their degree, when they're done here. They're going to be missed. I just wish this season would have turned out different than what it did.
We touched on COVID a little bit. Obviously, some juniors are kind of in the same position that the seniors were last year, and might for a few more years, that those decisions. When do you sit down? Is that at the end of a season type deal? How do you go about just, weighing out options, return, not to return, or why?
It's kind of just, beginning of the season, mid-season, even this week, how things feeling, and, trying to get a grasp of what they're thinking as well. We've done this twice now with the two different group of seniors, and, the first one didn't work out the way we wanted it. This one right now hasn't really worked out the way we wanted it. So, if the guys want to be here, they got to really truly prove that they want to be here and they want to be part of this, and they're going to do things, the right way. And, they do have a choice, to go on to other places, because they are going to graduate if we decide not to keep some of them around. But, it's just communication and talking with the kids, and, a lot of them have graduated, and a lot of them it's time for them to kind of move on and go live the real life, and get a job, and, start preparing for marriage and for children and all those good things coming up. So it's just one of those things as coaches, you look at kind of how things have gone in the past, and, I just want to make sure we do it the right way and make sure it's the right kids. And, it's just the conversations we have with them, and we'll decide, what's best for them and what's best for our program as well.
How soon do you talk to those players in that position? Because you also have to prepare for next year to find out what holes you might have to fill or strengthen. When do you have that conversation with them?
It's as the years gone on, we've had these conversations with them, and I've even had it with my own son. He does have another year of eligibility to play, but he's already got his master's and his degree, and he's working on his master's, and he'll be done pretty quick with that. So, it's kind of time for him to kind of step away from it too, because he's got that extra year, so he really truly should be a senior now, and most of them will. It's just going to come back here for one semester and play football, and are we going to get the full potential out of you is the true question. Because, look at the last 2 years, some of those guys we haven't got the full potential out of. And, I don't want to burn any bridges. I still love those kids very much, but I also don't want to hurt this program and put us in a position where we are right now as we're standing today. So, we've had that conversation early, and, we've had discussions with them, and, we'll just kind of see how these things pan out towards the end of the year.
How much has COVID and the ramifications of it as far as planning and that normal orderly process that all coaches like, I imagine, and how that was all messed up, and you're still feeling the after effects trying to get things back the way they were?
Yeah, a lot of it goes on your coaches, and I think some of it goes on to the players as well. Heck, Emporia had a lot of those, COVID seniors and extra year guys, and you look at those guys and what they did, and the things they did to make themselves better, as a football program. Those guys look bigger, they look faster, they look stronger than the years past, where we probably didn't do things quite as well as they did. So you're just trying to look back, and as a coach right now, reflect, okay, what could I have done better to make sure that this doesn't happen? And we'll get it worked out, we'll get it fixed, but it's just one of those things that hopefully here in the future we get it changed. But it has affected it, and it was, but you can't make that an excuse. We just got to come here and work and make sure we do things the right way.